The Black Eyed Peas, we got Will I Am, Appity Up, and Taboo right here on Zoom.
Hey!
Welcome.
Old times
Good
are
morning.
back. We are
Yeah,
back.
no,
It's so good to
this is
see
hard.
you.
Back.
It's so good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, Ryan.
Good to see you too.
And
right?
ladies, good morning.
Ladies.
Good morning.
So before we get to music, just a couple of things to catch everybody up. Taboo, we were talking before we just went on the air here about
Yes, sir.
you. 6 years in remission from cancer coming up. The anniversary is June 24th, right?
June 24th. Yes, sir. I'm alive. I'm very grateful to have gone through, the experience of learning to appreciate every day that I'm on this earth even more. I had a daughter after the fact that they said I wasn't going to be able to have any more children. So it was a blessing because I have my one daughter out of my three boys. I have three boys and one girl.
Oh.
So something beautiful came out of that nightmare. And, I learned a lot. I learned how to live, how to appreciate every moment. And especially when I perform with Apple and Will and knowing how precious life is and knowing the value of our friendship and our brotherhood throughout the years since we started this group, since we started our friendship.
I'm so happy to hear that you are. I mean, you look great.
Thank
Clearly
you.
feel great. I can tell by the energy through my little Zoom square.
Yes,
So
sir.
We're thrilled for you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Will, I'm just thinking about how long we've probably known each other. About 20 years now.
20 years, bro.
Right.
And I've seen your career blossom into the Ryan Seacrest superstar that you are.
Well, thank you. He uses that loosely. But I'm curious. So you guys are good friends and have been for a long time. I don't think you ever went away. I mean, we've been playing your music every one of those years. Was there a time where you lost touch, or you been close throughout that whole time, Will?
No, we hang out all the time. We happen to be in LA. There was just one point in time in our friendship where Taboo wasn't hanging out with me and Apple, and me and Apple were like, "How come he doesn't want to hang out with us?" So Tab, how come you don't want to come hang out? He was like, "Well, I'm just trying to find our thing." This was right after the explosion of I Got a Feeling and Dirty Bit and the End and the Beginning albums when we were doing stadium tours. That was the only time me and Taboo had any type of friction when I took it personal that he didn't want to hang out with me and App.
Mm.
What's ironic too, Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
What's ironic is that, during that time period, I was actually starting to make Latin type of music, and I was doing, collaborating with Latin producers and trying to find my way in the Latin community because I'm Mexican and I wanted to do something in that world. So, it was selfish of me to be like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to figure it out because I know that Will and Apple have my best interest.
Sure.
And unfortunately, the selfish mentality led me to the point when I got diagnosed with cancer. So, it was kind of like an egotistical moment for me, but then I got a reality check when I got diagnosed, and I said to myself, I value my life, my family, and my best friends more than anything. And I don't ever want to put music or career or ego in front of our friendship and our partnership as best friends.
So we talk every single day. There hasn't been a day where maybe 2 days pass if I don't FaceTime App or talk to App. But my whole time knowing App for 30 years. And bro, we've known each other for 30 years, bro.
Wow.
Apple, let me ask you that. I mean, y'all look like the Black Eyed Peas from the beginning, I mean, this to me seems like it could have been the first hit single that we're talking about. Apple, does it feel like you have grown up? Do you feel like you got more wisdom now when you approach everything?
A little bit, but we've always said we approach every project the same way. We still if we could go out right now, we'll go out to a club, and we call that researching.
R&D.
So even when back in the days when we're trying to get a record deal, we would go to Ballistics, David Filistino's club. Our goal was to be popular, so we don't have to stay in line anymore. So that became, that became our drive for everything. You know what I mean? That became our drive. One day we're gonna go to Europe and play stadiums, and then go out, and absorb the city. So we always had that mentality of absorbing the culture and learning the architecture and being inspired. So I think that's what keeps us going.
The new album is Translation. It's out today. I'm hearing rumblings that there hasn't been this much excitement for an album from y'all since, what was the year? Since like '09. Will, tell me about that.
You know, this moment that we have right now is like, it doesn't come around often for a group. You know, a group like ours that's had success in the late 90s, then all throughout the 2000s, and then topped it off in 2010 and 11 with I Got a Feeling, playing Super Bowls and, you know, World Cups and stadiums by yourself, and, you know, chart-topping songs like I Got a Feeling and Boom Boom Pow. Those two holding the number one position for more than 4 months, 5 months on the Billboard charts. And then take an 8-year break. Like, it should be donezo. Because you can't, no one can survive an 8-year
Come back
break.
like that, right?
Especially in their 40s. The rumor is like top 40 stands for like everybody under 40.
I better run.
So for us, it's like, wait a second, because no one thought that Black Eyed Peas could have pop success as a trio. And so Ritmo is like, yo, Ritmo has more views than I Got a Feeling on YouTube. Which is crazy. You know, Mamacita entering the charts at number one in Latin radio, freaking insane. Because that's not even our genre. Like, we don't make Latin music as a that's not our core. Just like we didn't make dance music in 2009. We weren't EDM artists, but I Got a Feeling was one of the biggest EDM songs of all times.
So the entries, though, Will, of those songs and what's to come, is that because of a moment in y'all's creativity or a moment in time in pop culture? What is it?
I just think it's just the power of humbling yourself, forgetting the success you had, and not let that, like, you know, dictate how you collaborate with people. Yeah. Like that ego blocks you. Holding on to that baggage of like, yo, it's the Black Eyed Peas, man. You don't understand how big, like, that would kill the studio session.
Yeah.
You got to come with your humble game. You got to come with your, like, and even coming with your humble game is egotistical. Cause like, you got to like erase all of that stuff. You got to start from scratch. You got to be a student. You got to be a fan. You got to be just like human to human. And we did a really good job, but we've done that several times in our career, because that's just core to who we are, and staying hungry and chasing it, right? Chasing the dream. And I remember when Tab and I was like, yo, let's go to the Billboard Awards, and we're gonna like walk through the hallways and like let's like try to see like who we could collaborate with. I took a Southwest flight to like collaborate. Everyone else, like, I was looking at their Instagrams, like everybody's flying private. I'm like, yo, Southwest. Southwest, bro.
Got this.
And not that we couldn't fly private. It's just that flying private, it puts something in your mind. It blocks it blocks your perspective of how you even enter the room. Flying private forces you to see the reality the way reality actually is. People to people, right? Standing in line with people, getting out of the airplane, getting into your car, standing in line to get your ticket to your
this
your
is
seat
how
at the
people
hotel.
listen to your music. This is with our headphones in, standing in line with with traffic, standing in lines of traffic.
Yeah, if you're gonna return, like if you're gonna try to attempt, it's not even return, because returning is an arrogant thing to say. Like, yo, we on a comeback. Like, good luck coming back, homie. But the attempting to pull off the craziest stunt in the world, it sounds like this. Look, Black Eyed Peas, we gonna come back in Latin world in our 40s. It would be like, yeah, good luck, homie. You speak Spanish? yo, good luck with that.
Ritmo. Last night when I went to sleep, I was excited about getting up, and getting up early. It's hard to get excited about, but I was excited. A couple things I was just thinking about. News today. It's the first time I've heard the acronym used in a song, COVID-19, and it's reflective of the times. Tell me about that track.
So the news today, it was 2 weeks into the lockdown, and I would come to the studio every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the streets are empty. And I would leave the studio every night at 8 p.m., and the streets felt like it was 5 a.m. I would go to the supermarket in a panic, heart heavy, and I would see the person at the cashier with bright eyes as if they were saving people's lives. And I'm like, wow, how come I didn't really appreciate this person in January? Wow, society never even valued the stock boy.
Mm-hmm.
And the cashier, like, wow, these folks are essential workers. They should be getting paid more than name the folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, I'm a part of the reason why we don't value them, because I didn't value them up until that moment. And I'm like, and I like had this heavy heart where I wanted to cry because my sister works at Walmart and she stocks. And me and my mom were fighting, like, Ma, is everybody safe? Are you having Mandy take off her shoes when she comes in the house and like a set of clothes before she goes in? I don't want you getting sick, Ma. She's like, well, we got this under control. Don't worry about it. I started thinking about that. I was like, and then I was like, let's write a song. I just want to write a song about this because I have all these emotions, all these concerns, and I don't want to get depressed. I don't want to think about in detail what's actually happening all around the world. People haven't been to work. They're concerned if they're going to continue in that job. People have been laid off. They're concerned if they're going to get jobs when they like, wow, what are we going through right now? Not just in America, but everywhere around the world. Everyone is experiencing the same thing. And we're all watching the news. And that could cause a panic. And that could cause anxiety. There's a lot of people just dealing with their anxiety the way they're dealing with it. Stuck in the house, masked up when they leave to go to the supermarket, like Purelling every time, like, oh, my throat hurts. Oh, let me put some Purell. Like, and then you watch the news and the leadership and you're like, what's going on? Everyone's concerned. Everyone's proud. Everyone's afraid. And so I needed to write about it. And it was just a rant. It was like an emotional rant. The song was like 7 minutes long at first. And I showed App and Taboo. And then we chiseled it into the form that it is now. And we put it on the record. And then when that was the last song. And then right when we turned in the album, George Floyd and protests. And then I'm like, wait, there's another song. Because now there's other emotions as if COVID was like 1,000 years ago now.
Well, that was my next question. How has George Floyd's death, how have the protests, how have the headlines since then impacted your music, your thinking, and what you might create lyrically?
And so right when I had that itch and I had that like desire, like this burning to write about what's going on, a friend of mine sent me this video in Paris where a bunch of folks marching were singing Where's the Love? Then the same day, they sent me Philadelphia and New Zealand. And then I'm like, wow, for some reason that put out the fire. Because I'm like, wow, Where's the Love? We did write that. And that's what people are doing on their own. Where's the Love is exactly the emotion that I need to let out.
Mm-hmm.
That was the remedy for this burning heart and this like bruised spirit, like this attack on my intelligence and my human morals. It's what we needed for emotionally. Where's the Love? And from that point on, it's like that wasn't our song anymore. That was the world song.
Apple?
Yeah, and then so me and Will, you know, we went to go protest and like provide some kind of like therapy for people that are being out there sacrificing their lives, you know what I mean? That like nobody cared about COVID anymore. So me and Will literally walked out there and he brought a speaker and you know we were
and a
thinking
megaphone.
And a megaphone and we were thinking of like let's sing to people, you know. So we wanted to sing to people but it just never felt right, like being over there and trying to sing a song. So we just ended up just joining the protest and we just did it for for the people and the people that are out there. And if the song comes organically, if it pops up, you know, we'll do the song. But you know, we just wanted to be there and support.
Go ahead, Taboo.
The whole situation of whether we're talking about the beginning of 2020 with the Australian fires, or losing our brother Kobe Bryant, or, you know, the pandemic, and even the protest and losing our brother George Floyd, the sentiment for this record was to uplift. Mm-hmm. And although it was inspired by a lot of Latin fusion and Afrobeat and you know, good vibes, the reality is we didn't want to just get in the dark place where we're writing songs where it's like everything is bad and everything's effed up. We wanted to actually uplift the spirits and bring some music that has hope and has positivity and makes you want to dance and makes you want to, you know, if you want to work out, so that we can ease the mind for what we provide to the world with our frequency of therapy through music.
I love that. And that is what you're going to hear in translation. I'm going to play Where Is the Love as we say goodbye to the Black Eyed Peas. Will, Apple, Taboo, love you all. Thank you so much for coming on. We're happy that we're doing this again.
Thanks, Seacrest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Soon, all right?
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Here it is. This is a song that you must turn up and listen to. Where is the Love? Kiss FM.
Hey.
What do you got?
Hey.
What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like